I am going to help you make decisions and commit to them. Learn how to navigate difficult conversations and say no without guilt. Let's begin by building your inner strength. Welcome. I'm Angela Dryden, your life coach. Welcome, my friends. I am so glad you tuned in for yet another great topic and some good information. For those who are new, I want to welcome you. I'm glad that you stopped by and you found me here. Please make sure to tune in to older stuff as well. Go back and listen to other stuff if you like what you hear today. And then I always try to make a new episode of some new information every week. So I'm glad that you are here. And for those that have been following me, thank you. I am glad that you are here as well. And I'm excited when I love hearing back comments of people that have enjoyed content that they've read. Whether you make a comment here through YouTube or whatever you want to do, I'd love to have that as well. And please feel free to share the content. If you find it helpful, share it with a friend, share it with a family member. I would love to be able to help other people that are wanting to create some more awareness in their life. All right, my friends. So today's topic is an exciting one. I love this. I've done a lot of preparing for this topic for actually this 3-part series I've been creating. So the first part I put out already, and that is an awareness of our disbelief. And so I dove into that, gave some tips, some insights, some information on how you can kind of become the observer of your thinking to be able to see that you might be having patterns of unawareness of your disbelief. Now today, we are going to dive into the awareness, now that you're aware, this awareness of your disbelief is right here, this one. And the next one going forward is going to be your awareness of your beliefs, like creating, moving forward, what that looks like. So this middle one, this can be a tough one. So this is one that I think many people I've coached, they want to skip this one. I wanted to skip this one. I didn't like this one. In fact, what I found myself doing is repeating, coming back to this because I skipped it so many times. I didn't want to do the awareness of my disbelief. I didn't want to see what was kind of really going on. I just wanted to skip to start feeling good. I'm like, can I just get over there, please? Like, I'm feeling, okay, now I see that I'm unaware of my disbeliefs. I just want to get to believing and awareness, and let's go there. Let's not get into the part where I have to actually acknowledge or view my disbelief. I don't want to see that. But my friends, this is the part which I would like to call, it is the buried treasure. This, in here, you can find so many pearls of wisdom and tips that can help you connect more deeper to yourself than you ever have before, which will help you on the next step. So this is really a crucial, important part. So when it comes to awareness of disbelief, I'm going to kind of compare it to, like I said, it's kind of a more difficult part. I'm going to compare it to the pressure that is needed to create diamonds, the pressure that is needed to create pearls in the ocean, and the heavier pressure that's on it, the more beautiful diamond and pearl comes from it. And it takes a lot of pressure. That's kind of here. But I want to give you a little bit of fair warning or clarification that it's not necessarily pressure. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to tell you a way that it doesn't have to feel that way. I'm going to give you some suggestions that are going to make it so it doesn't feel that way. Because we don't need to be berated or belittled any more than we already are in our lives, right? I'm sure if you're anything like me, there's times that you're like, oh, I'm not doing good enough. I should be doing better. You have all these thoughts in your head going on of you wanting to improve and that you're not good enough, or that if I just would have done this, I can't believe I did that. And when you do that, we just kind of belittle ourselves over time. So in this part where we're creating awareness of our disbelief, we don't need to slam it anymore, right? We don't need to literally pick ourselves apart anymore. But what we do need to do is create awareness of the disbelief and hold some space for it. Now, what I mean about creating awareness for disbelief is I want to give you two examples on how it kind of shows up when you get to this spot that you're like, oh, I've arrived here. And it's this. You are either having shame or guilt and you don't even want to look at it. You're kind of hiding from it now that you see it. You're like, I don't want to see that I do that. That's not right. I can't believe I've done that, this shame or guilt. Or you go to the other side where you have pride and you like dig your heels even more. Like, I know what I'm doing. They don't need to tell me what to do. I can figure this out. Like this just strong pride on this end or this extreme guilt on the other. What I want to offer you is that we can go into the middle, which is when we start to open up and give ourselves a little bit of grace and have some curiosity about what we're thinking and seeing. Now, when you can get to curious, it diffuses a little bit of this pressure here, which can open you up to help you start to see your disbelief and not see it in a form of judgment and think that you're a bad person or you should have done this better or that you know all the answers, right? It helps you just kind of diffuse that a little bit. So that is the first step, is to get into that curiosity mode. Now, some of the things, the patterns, I'm going to give you 2 tips on some patterns that might have come up in your life that is kind of gives you an idea that this is where you're skipping or where you're at. Like, this means that you kind of skipped this part, that you went from the disbelief all the way to the I believe and I have awareness, right? So this is where you skip when you use things of like all or nothing mentality, in the sense of like, you do this every time. I never do that. This happens all the time. When you kind of generalize it and you don't give room for flexibility, you have now like kind of made it just this hard stamp that there's nothing could change it. And that's where you kind of see that you're missing this spot that you might want to explore and just kind of get to that curiosity mode and go, I wonder why I'm believing that it's every time this happens. I think I could find times where it wasn't every time. Maybe there's been a few occasions this has happened. And then that gives you a moment to kind of open up to something as opposed to close off, right? And go to that guilt and shame or that pride. So those are kind of some things that you might see a pattern of. If you see yourself saying those things a lot, like every time, all the time, this never happens, you've never followed through, those types of things that you see yourself doing, that's an indication that you could kind of start to get to this spot. Like this would be a good time to get to this spot. Another thing that I have found with clients and with myself is when we go to the mentality of instead of that all or nothing, part of that all or nothing is the belief system that we have. And so we are having thought errors. That's what we kind of call them thought errors. So thought errors are when we are believing something, but it really is just a thought. It's not fact. There's many times that I'm coaching clients, and even myself when I get coached, I will have this belief, and I believe that I'm just telling you the facts, as opposed to the truth is I'm telling you a story with a little bit of facts in it. Like that's usually how we communicate. When we read a book, when we read an article, it is a lot of opinion and a few facts is usually how it kind of works out. But in our mind, when we start to, when we become aware of this disbelief, we can start to open up to it and get curious about it and go, oh, that's interesting that I think that. So I wrote down some thought errors I wanted to say here. It's not fair that people don't listen. So that's a thought, right? It's not fair that people don't listen. So what is fair? Like and why do you want things to be fair? So maybe even kind of stopping and questioning that and just giving yourself a moment to kind of diffuse it and not make a big shift, but just be, oh yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's fair or not. I guess it doesn't. But that's, again, gives you that opportunity to kind of open up to something. This is boring when we think things are boring. So this is boring. I don't like this. Again, we're just believing that as though that is fact. And it could be fact to you, but realize that it's your opinion that you hold on to, that it's actually not fact for everybody. And when you do that, then it kind of, you can see that you could maybe lean away from it a little bit. It doesn't have to be just this way, that maybe there's a room for growth in there somehow. And then again, that's where we're starting to make that connection of that awareness of our disbelief. I deserve this. This is a big, like I hear a lot of people say, well, I just deserve this. And I think I'd made that comment already before. Instead of thinking deserve, like, why do I think I deserve this? Would I rather have some, I think I said, would I rather earn it? Like, what does that mean to me? Again, just having awareness of this disbelief, of this thought that I've been believing for a long time. And could it be a disbelief? Like, could it be something that I don't really need to be believing? I could like just let it go? Or do I need to just stick onto it and just hold tight to that? I don't have the willpower is an interesting like concept as far as a thought error. Like I don't have the willpower for that. I wouldn't be able to do that. Again, we're putting in that as though when we claim I don't have something, like I don't have willpower, I don't have the patience, we're telling ourselves we don't have that. So that's another spot that we can kind of detach from it and look at it and go, oh, is that true? Could I find spots where I did have willpower? Was there a time that I did have patience with people? Is it possible? And so when we start to open up to this awareness, this is, like I said, it's kind of the treasure of creating true awareness in your life is this spot. And it is the spot that I find that people want to skip over a lot, especially if you're someone, if you find that for you, when you're having a bad day, you just want to quickly get to happy. The quicker you want to get to happy, the more that you see that pattern in your life, the more you are missing this spot and you feel like you always having to get to happy. In this spot, we can start to just weigh and see things are 50-50. And we just get to a point where we're like, oh, yeah, it's not bad or good. It just is. And I'm good with that. Like this, it just feels very different. Doesn't feel like you have to prove something. Doesn't feel like you have a lot of energy that you have to expel out all the time. It's just kind of that, okay, like that neutral ground. And that's what you're getting to here. As long as you sit here for a little bit, as long as you're willing to become aware and explore your beliefs that you're having. And that's what you kind of do in this spot. And this spot is important. And if you have questions or you want to dive deeper, this is something that I do with clients. And what I'm offering you here is just a snippet of actually going deeper into helping clients make a more pivotal shift and change to actually go into the direction they want to go by using this and by diving deeper and me helping you with a specific situation that's going on. I can help you do that. And it's one of those aha light bulb moments that like never go away. Once you get to the spot and you have that, it is amazing. But the one, I guess, right, kind of the flip side to that is also it can be hard to process. Like I said, we want to feel shame or guilt, and we also want to feel pride. But we want to get to that even ground where we start to feel curious about it. And if we feel like we're holding on to it so tightly, we won't let it go, it's going to be a challenge in this spot. And that's okay that it's challenging. And a lot of times I have clients that are challenged with this, and that's okay. And they do eventually work through it. They do find some pieces and they're going, oh, I just haven't realized that I've been doing that and that was showing up in my life. And when they have that and they come from a place of not judging it, not thinking that they are a bad person for it, it's like, boom, I got it. I'm on to the next step. I'm ready to go to the next step. And this is just a magical place. If there's a magical place in thought land, I think this is one of the stages in creating awareness. This is the magical stage. And it's funny because it's the stage that a lot of people like to skip. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, make sure to share it with a friend. They always love to hear. I know I always love to hear things and people share things with me that is useful information. If you found it useful, make sure to share with a friend. And next thing coming up on the next week is going to be step number 3, which is awareness of our beliefs and going further and creating kind of getting that first beginning step of creating beliefs that are going to serve us to the spot that we want to be going to, whatever that looks like for you. So I'm going to be talking about that in the next one. All right, my friends, if you want to dive deeper, reach out to me, book a discovery call. I'm looking forward to meeting you and hearing from you, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye. This next step is easy. Book your free discovery call at www.angeladryden.com today. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this information with a friend. Until next time, take care of you.